I welcome you all, and a big thank you to all the speakers who shared their insights and provided some golden nuggets on some of the key factors contributing to India's growth story, be it consumption boom or building a brand for the Indian market. Well, no doubt, India is witnessing a crop of entrepreneurs like never before. In fact, as you heard a lot of speakers prior to me, that India is considered to be the world's fastest growing startup ecosystem with over 61,000 recognized startups, fueling the economic growth in the pursuit of making India Atmanirbhar. This in time surely will go on to make India one of the best countries contributing to the innovative entrepreneurship. Before we go further, let's first understand. It has been established that entrepreneurship is a very vital ingredient for sustained and organic economic growth and development. Today, entrepreneurial-driven economy is the answer to this, as it drives innovation across array of goods and services, leading to availability and providing a better value proposition for the consumers, while also increasing the brand loyalty. Well, as a small business owner, the general perception is about providing for self and family. But in reality, it is actually building your local community, building a strong ecosystem, which is by and large contributing to micro-entrepreneurship and the growth. With the current times, mindset shift has taken place among the Indian masses. The earlier apprehensions towards entrepreneurship or taking up an existing business opportunity are now turning into major professional goals. And there is a paradigm shift to the encouragement and support by the families. I mean, today, if you look at the advent of many direct selling companies globally, everyone associated is an entrepreneur, or I would say a true business leader in their own right. They're pursuing their own personal goals, be it financial independence, being their own boss, or attainment of the stage of self-actualization. At Herbalife Nutrition, that the company from where I come from, you will witness numerous such journeys regardless of generation, gender, religion, economic or educational background, being attracted to a business opportunity. We also have a great set of Gen X, Gen Z, and millennials who are now actively building and working with this business opportunity. Authority, steady income from jobs, positions and titles are not what this generation seek, but the essence of ownership, the freedom of time and money, and of course, the individual growth is their mantra. Just to share a few statistics with you in Herbalife Nutrition, our current trend shows that the associate generation, or we call, let's say the distributor generation, today in Herbalife are 55% millennials, Gen X constitute about 28%, while 52% are female distributors and 48% are male. Now, what this shows, ladies and gentlemen, this shows that the younger generation and women are taking this opportunity to grow as micro entrepreneurs. You know, new and improved offerings, products, innovation, and technology is enabling new markets to be developed while economy is created, and constantly, upgrading and enabling these services supports more sustainable and efficiency in micro entrepreneurship. And this is what we aim at Herbalife Nutrition, while we provide the business opportunity for the direct sellers who are micro entrepreneurs. Now, let's talk about, coming to the direct selling business in India, which has tapped into the potential of entrepreneurship by enabling better economic sustainability and societal impact. The direct selling industry is expected to grow threefolds by 2025. And according to the industry projections, by 2025, the direct selling sector will employ nearly 18 million people. Now, those are staggering numbers. Also, with over 50% of the workforce comprising of women, the industry significantly encourages women entrepreneurship. Some of the key things about the direct selling is that it has a low investment, low time, or less time, I would say, space flexibility, and a simplified work process. This industry has emerged as one of the most, I would say, dependable income generation options in the present times. Now, one of the key reasons behind the growth is because the direct selling business model is a low risk, high in demand, and a powerful source of income in India. For example, if we talk about the Herbalife gold standard guarantees, there are no minimum purchases required for the start of the business, nor there are any startup cost. Also, there is a 100% refund guarantee on products, plus the shipping cost for the return of all purchased products within the last 12 months. Now, this serves as a key formula, especially for the risk-averse community of members who are willing to test the waters in the direct selling industry while nothing to lose and a lot can be gained. Also, owing to the relations people have cultivated in India, reaping rich dividends in the direct selling sector is a reality, that too with zero capex and minimal opex. Again, talking a little bit of numbers, there was a survey done by the Indian Direct Selling Association for the sector in 2021. The Indian direct selling industry stood at around 18,000 crore in 2021 and 20, registering a growth of almost 7.7%, out of which the wellness and nutraceuticals contributed almost about 58% of the total Indian direct selling sales, followed by cosmetics and personal care at 22% during 2020 and 21. Social media. Social media has become an integral part of industry's growth plans. Post-lockdown, consumers have started spending 2x of the time on social media platforms versus the previous lockdown. Now, this is influencing micro entrepreneurs to make social media as an integral part of strategy. Here I can also highlight that, Herbalife Nutrition saw a major shift and growth while adapting to virtual systems to connect with our consumers and associates or our distributors in the last 2 years. The opportunity to connect with anyone, anywhere, and simple tech advancements to provide services to the end customers helped us in rapid growth. Now, what is noteworthy in is the digital India alignment with the technology that has truly and surely shaped the new norm in the industry. The direct selling industry rebuilt and altered its operations throughout the pandemic's uncertain period by increasing flexibility, decentralization, and remote working. India today, amongst all the 94 countries which we operate in globally, India is amongst the top 5 markets globally out of the 94 countries which we operate in. Yeah. As we look forward to a brighter future as next steps, I feel there is a need to further build a skilling ecosystem for the sector, leveraging on the Ministry of Skilling courses and developing professional courses for the new entrepreneurs in the universities, in the institutions, and in colleges. Also, have a separate sectorial recognition of direct selling, as this sector is in line with the mission of Atmanirbhar Bharat and working towards encouraging entrepreneurship. And at the end, all I can say is that we have just scratched the tip of the iceberg with respect to the overall potential of this industry and creating entrepreneurs in the country and making India Atmanirbhar. And with more entrepreneurs joining the bandwagon, it only calls for a brighter future. I'm really excited to be a part of this, session today, and thanks to the Times Group, for this opportunity. Bright future. Let's move ahead, and thank you for this opportunity once again. Thank you, and namaskar. Jai Hind. Thank you.
Hi Ritesh, lovely to be here, and thank you all for attending. Very excited to conduct this session with you. We've already done Ritesh's story on Humans of Bombay. I think it was during the pandemic. So I have to start from there. Let's talk a little bit about your journey and how kind of you went from, I know that you were very, very entrepreneurial. You've sold SIM cards, you've done all of that, to founding OYO. Can you tell us a little bit about that, please?
I have done this a few times, so I will try and see if I can be more articulate than earlier. I think the story of going from, Raigada in Odisha, which is where I grew up in, to building OYO, and I feel I'm still building it because it's still the early days here, I think is a combination of 3 things. And I believe that hopefully these are the 3 things that will resonate with a lot of young entrepreneurs starting to build their own businesses. I think the first one is the story of, dreams, which is being able to think about big aspirations without limitation. So growing up in Raigada, I think being able to get an IT job was really like the top aspiration, right? One would aspire to have. But I think in the new India that we live in, access to internet structurally changes aspirations of people, right? Because now suddenly you read about another entrepreneur in another part of the world who just had a good idea, wanted to work hard and make a positive difference and could build a big business. So I thought, why not me? I think that was the first one, dreaming. The second thing was exposure. I think there were a lot of new businesses that were getting built around me, which were prepared for the next generation. So, like you mentioned, I started selling SIM cards. I started selling SIM cards for Airtel. I saw that there was a new company which was operating in a very different way and was still able to make a big difference. Exposure of the internet, to be able to see that businesses can be built on top of that. For example, if Oyo had to distribute through physical shops, we would have taken 30 years to build a distribution network. Now we can just put ourselves on a mobile app and be ready to sell. So I would say dreaming, exposure, and I would say ecosystem, right? I think ecosystem ka bahut bada badlav hai. I think, at the time when I was starting, there were people from US, from different parts of the world wanting to come join young startups. Our first hotel owner, Mr. Yadav, I remember, I tried to convince him कि आप ओयो में जुड़ जाएं हमारे साथ में. So he says, देखिए, my occupancy is 15-20%. So it will not go worse than this. So I will give you a go. But you are telling me that you'll take the occupancy to 40-50%. Looking at you doesn't look like it'll happen. But I'll still give you a go. That ability to trust someone and say that I'm going to give them a go, I think is a big deal. So I think that dreaming, having exposure and being able to have the ecosystem around you, where India has changed from being a place where a government job is the only, I must not say that that's not aspiration today, it's still very aspirational. But at the same time, there are other aspirational jobs as well. And one of them is working with a startup, and I'm very lucky to be a part of this India.
That's fantastic. And I think that everything that you mentioned was so apt for the discovery that's happened through the time. I can't possibly continue without addressing the COVID period that, all of us have been through in these past 2 years. Terrible time. I hope it doesn't come back. But what was that like, especially from an Oyo fund, given the tourism industry was probably the most hit? How did that pan out?
What I learned from COVID was 3 things. The first is the power of resilience. I have always believed for an entrepreneur, you have to keep digging when you're inside a tunnel. My father works now for a road construction company. So that's why I hear about these stories. So when you're in a tunnel and inside and you're digging, at some point of time you may feel that it's darkness all through, right? But you have to keep digging and there is always light at the end of the tunnel. So I think in the time of COVID, there was always this feeling saying that, why is it happening just to us, right? Like, why is this, like, when will this go away? Even though you knew that someday it will change, vaccines will come, life will be good, but there's always this thing of saying, by when will it go away? I think we had this conviction of saying that, hoga kabhi na kabhi, people will travel again, and that's happening today, thank God. That was one. This power of perseverance is unprecedented, and I say this to every entrepreneur who's hopefully listening to us here. That is, you may be building your business and you may be losing your most important colleague. You may be running a business and you may be losing your best customer. You may be having an investor who's saying that if you don't make returns in a few months, I'm going to be unhappy. You should know that, if you keep going at it, there is always light at the end of the tunnel. So that's one thing I learned. The second thing I learned is the power of having a team which truly works like a family. I didn't have my senior leaders leave me in the time of the pandemic, and if at all, we all got closer. And in that, one of the things that helped me was the power of reflection. I have learned that experiences, people say, is very valuable, right? Experience ka bahut mahत्व होता है, आपने इतने साल देखा है. I think I will say a provocative statement, तो पूरा सुनना आप. Experiences, in my view, are not as valuable as much as reflections of those experiences are. What it means is, if you have experience on something and you don't do anything about it, then it's of no value. But if you have the experience and you can reflect on it and say, what can I do better by using that, that's very valuable. So that's what we did as a management. We spent a lot of time reflecting कि हमने क्या अच्छा किया, क्या हम बेहतर कर सकते थे, and then worked on improving it. What else? I think the third thing is, something that we were talking about is the power of, companies which work with small businesses and companies which are systemic to the Indian society, right? Like, you may think that COVID में कौन travel कर रहा था? reality is a lot of Oyo hotels were full in Mumbai at that point of time. Of course, we were not making any money on them. We were selling them very cheap because that was the right thing to do. Because we were one of the biggest providers for Vande Bharat mission. We were one of the biggest COVID center extensions for hospitals. So I was very lucky that our company could do its bit. So I think that's my big takeaway from COVID. But the big story is people are traveling. And if you haven't booked yet for summer season, book soon because rooms and flights are all getting full very soon.
It's fantastic. And now that, like you mentioned, there's a semblance of normalcy returning and the tourism industry is up and running again, how do you think it's changed through this period? Because obviously concepts like work from home, staycation, workation have become very, very normal in the work culture as well. So how do you think that it's evolved?
Yeah, I think work from anywhere is a concept that, every company is now coming to reality of terms with. Look, I think, first off, I believe that the way people used to work, the way people used to live, and the way people used to travel, I personally believe has changed with the pandemic, and there are few changes which are not going to go back to what it was pre-pandemic. Mujhe lagta hai ki that's a one-time change that's happened. And flexible working is a very critical part of it. Isme you see that earlier, weekends for us used to be Fridays and Saturdays, right? I'm increasingly seeing weekends have now started becoming work weekends, where people book for 4 days, from Friday through to Monday, because people know that I can do video calls on Monday, at least in some professions where it is doable. Second is the power of homestays. I think homestays are dramatically changing the face of our country. I'll tell you this, right before pandemic, our company started rural homestays as an opportunity. So there is a town called Kevadia, now called Ekta Nagar in Gujarat, where we went to a few agriculture, farmers who had a house, kacha makan tha, and they made one of their rooms into a pakka makan, and they said, we are happy to host people in that place and make business out of it. These properties are running at 70% occupancy for last 2 years flat, including the time of pandemic, because people could not travel internationally. So they saw India for the first time. And now they don't want to travel internationally because they say, what a beautiful country, you want to go see other places in our own nation. So I think workations, rural tourism, homestays, I think a lot of these are one-time moves and they are here to stay for a long time.
So thank you so much, Ritesh. I am personally always so inspired every time I speak with you. And and I think that everybody in the audience resonates because you're just supremely inspiring, and we're looking forward to the new India and everything else that's coming with it, and I think that you've shown us the vision and we hope it comes through. Thank you all. Thank you so much.